training, learning, and education programs, structured pedagogy that has pretty good evidence for increasing people's both education as well as livelihoods outcomes. The problem with these programs is that they're quite hard to scale in a high quality way. The evidence for them in a contained environment is quite good in terms of like coaching people through certain types of investment decisions or how to kind of run their business or things like that. But typically these programs both cost a lot of money to deliver, but then quality control is really hard as you scale it up. And so I think there's like quite a lot of promise around two things. One is this kind of structured pedagogy around different types of business and health outcomes, where having cheap, free, high quality access to coaching advice and support via a free hotline or something like that has a lot of potential. And so that's something that we're actually running some pilots on this year. The second is actually access to market information and prices. So one of the big challenges if you're in a remote community in Malawi is like having access to market data about what, the price of different goods are, or how different crops are kind of selling on the market or things like that, or what the opportunities are. And so we're actually also going to be trialing a kind of hotline that allows people to get access to market information to allow them to make more informed choices about how they spend their money. And that is really unlocked by having a quality of voice generative AI system that would be very hard and expensive for us to scale otherwise.
If I got it correctly, a lot of it is about having these sorts of AIs acting as personal assistants to help people out in the ways that a lot of people use them nowadays in the first world, but that haven't percolated into the poorer countries yet, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That sounds really brilliant, actually. And I think kind of helps with my concern earlier that a lot of people don't have enough agency and ability to navigate the modern world to make use of money well. Very well might if they have a personal little AI in their pocket helping them out that they can ask questions.
Totally. Yeah. Access to high quality information and really accessible kind of high quality advice. Like often when you look at the way these studies and trials are done across all these types of interventions, people find these really promising programs that get these really impressive results that then fail to replicate at scale. It's unclear exactly why that is true, but there's basically two main theses. One thesis is that it was unique to those very specific conditions. But the other thesis, which to me is like a little bit more believable, is that it's just extremely hard to do quality control once you're operating those things at sufficient scale, and quality really matters. And that is super unlocked by modern generative AI in a way that is really exciting, I think.
I really love this because a lot of people have been talking about like, oh, AI is only going to be useful to the top 10% of high functioning people with, programming jobs or whatever. But really, simply asking your pocket god questions on day-to-day life can make huge differences to your life. And this may be the thing that like helps raise the floor for billions of people far more than it helps eke out a little bit more advantage among the top, which makes me very optimistic, actually.
Totally. We just got to put the right amount of money into doing it well. Man, if the amount of capital that's being thrown at SaaS productivity, white collar workflows, there's like 5% of that to some of these applications that we're talking about, you would make me a very happy person.
Wow, man. Is there a dedicated program just for this anywhere?
There's a few people who are kind of playing and toying with it. We're investing our own money in it. Google and OpenAI and various people have their own like little accelerators that they're kind of making grants from. But I would say on the kind of scale of capital that's necessary to do this in the most exciting way, it's not $500,000 grants at a time, which is essentially what's coming from the industry right now. Instead, it's the kind of more sustained capital investments that will unlock it at greater scale.
This is blowing my mind with its potential already.
Yeah, I'm sharing your enthusiasm. The idea of, just being able to reach into your pocket and ask like, hey, I've got $180. Like, how do I spend this most effectively? Here are my circumstances, and getting a useful answer. I think it solves a lot of the reservations people might have about the money being used ineffectively or something.
Yeah. Or just like, I'm trying to start up a little local business to help my neighbors. Is there any things that I'm overlooking? What are the legal hurdles I have to jump? And it'll just tell you, oh, you got to file this and this paper, fill out these forms, pay your $5, and you're good to go. Like that's a huge unlock.
Totally. Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
That's awesome.
I'm interested in finding solutions that can scale to billions of dollars and get more effective over billions of dollars rather than. And I think cash is one of the very, very few interventions that can credibly make the claim to be able to absorb in the billions and do so in a way that not just kind of maintains efficacy, but probably increases as well. And there are just very few interventions in the world that can do that. When I look at GiveDirectly, like at the moment, one of the things that we're working on is scaling to every adult in extreme poverty in Malawi, because we think that it's possible to actually plausibly catalyze an entire country out of extreme poverty at the same time. It's not certain by any means. Like, it is a moonshot by a long way. But we are basically working on setting the conditions, creating the operational capabilities, and then raising the capital to plausibly deploy billions of dollars into Malawi as a one-time demonstration of catalyzing an entire country out of poverty. We've been working on this for a few years. We started by basically saying we're going to do it in an entire sub-district, in which 75,000 adults, every single adult in a sub-district. And we did that, and we measured like a whole bunch of different things. This is where we did all of our analysis on inflation to kind of determine that we could do this safely and responsibly without causing inflation, and that worked. And so that was phase one. And then phase two, what we're in right now, is scaling up to an entire district, or the equivalent of a state. And so that's going to be around, just under 350,000 adults. And that's going to cost $150 million over the next couple of years. And all of this is gearing towards being able to kind of credibly, confidently deploy in the billion. And so in the next couple of years, like, we could absorb about $1.4 billion right now, just with our existing systems. That's about somewhere between 5 and 10x what we would otherwise just expect to do. But what we're trying to do is scale up such that we're able to do even more of that, because there is an increasing amount of concentrated wealth in the world that a small number of people who I think have generally good values and want to do good things with are able to deploy. And we're trying to create mechanisms for them to deploy that effectively.